Hi, My Talk with T fam. We're back with another episode. And, besides all the covers and everything that I've done, I haven't done an actual episode in about 4 months. I think that last episode I did was on my birthday. So we're grateful to God, thankful to God that I'm able to come back here, do another episode. I haven't forgotten y'all, not at all. The reason that I haven't done an actual episode is because your girl just finished her first year of college. We thank God for that. We thank God for another opportunity to be able to come before Him and thank Him publicly. In my first year of college, I honestly just thank God that I was able to enter it and then finish it successfully. For all of my college students, especially those who have just come back like me for their first year, we did it because it's not a joke. I actually just got back in the middle of May, so this video has been in the works for a little while, but we thank God. I just wanted to come on here, hopefully make this video as short as possible, although you know me, I can talk. Just to kind of give a summary of my first year and then to, give some advice as well, especially to my high school seniors, those who are going to graduate in a little bit. I see y'all. Hear me talking as if I didn't just graduate less than a year ago, but we're not talking about me right now. So let's get into it. My first year of college was eventful, very eventful in good ways and not so good ways. One thing I always tell you guys, I like to be transparent because I want people to get it as real as possible. I'm not one to fake things for people. For those who don't know, my major is pre-medical studies, so your girl's in STEM. STEM's not easy, y'all. Not at all. But honestly, in terms of the workload, it wasn't crazy difficult, if I'm being honest. I guess because my high school, for those who don't know, I went to a private high school. My high school actually did help me prepare for a lot of my classes, so it wasn't like unbearable. And of course, I had like 6 classes at a time, so I had to juggle this assignment's due this time and this assignment's due, and that can be pretty stressful. But the workload itself, it wasn't like I couldn't handle it. Only by God's grace, of course. But I mean, that's different for everybody. I'm not saying that's the case with everyone. For me, juggling the workload was a little difficult, but not crazy enough. First semester, honestly, I thought that was supposed to be, the hardest one, since I go from a high school senior to a college freshman. But the first semester of college for me, fall semester, actually was not that bad. It was good. I actually did well first semester, which I'm very proud of because I wanted to start college on a strong foundation. It was second semester, honestly, that kind of just, it really stressed me out. Second semester, it wasn't easy for me. It wasn't. I had some struggles second semester with either classes or professors. I know the second semester I really got dealt with, like in terms of certain classes. If that makes sense. Like it was just tiring. Like I was very mentally exhausted second semester. And I honestly, at the time, I wasn't sure why I was, but it wasn't even physical exhaustion. Like I could just feel myself getting drained more and more mentally. And it's not like I didn't try, excuse me. I did try, and like I told you guys, I'm a STEM major, so constantly had a lot of sciences. I still have a lot of sciences, but it was just kind of hard to take. I'm not saying this to discourage anybody who wants to go into STEM, any kind of science or technology, any of that. I'm not discouraging you. I'm giving it to you guys from my personal experience. It's not easy. I don't want anyone going into any major in college thinking that it's easy, because it's not. College is college. And I mean, one thing that some of my friends who were in college before me told me, college is not like high school. Like in high school, you have professors that care about you. And I'm not saying in college that there are professors that don't care, but the difference is in high school, you're still kind of treated like a child. But in college, you're an adult, even if you're not like 18 at that point, 17 or whatever, people are going to treat you like an adult. Like, you have that experience of, being in the real world now. And it was just a lot academically. It's not like I couldn't handle it. By God's grace, I passed everything. Nothing was failed. It was just kind of hard to adapt to how much that they gave me. And I know that kind of contradicts what I said before, that it wasn't too difficult. Like, okay, the workload itself wasn't like, all of it wasn't too much, but at the same time, it was like a lot to also balance other things going on. And that's just the academic side of it. Socially, I didn't really struggle. I made friends. I had people that I encountered. The thing is, for me, that was actually very interesting to me is that, for those who don't know, all my life, I've been in private school. Like, all of my life. More specifically, Catholic school. Like, even if I wasn't surrounded by, like, a Catholic, I was in a Christian setting. But then, going to my college, and for those who don't know, I go to Jefferson University. Going to my college, I'm surrounded by people of different faiths. I'm surrounded by Muslims, I'm surrounded by Sikhs, Buddhists, atheists. I mean, there are Christians as well, but I was really like kind of shocked. Like, I never realized how much of a bubble that I was in. Like, I was really, to myself prior to college. But I am glad that I got to meet all the people that I did, because it showed me, life is not like one set group. Like, just because I was raised in a Christian setting, I'm not always going to be surrounded by Christians wherever I go. I'm going to be surrounded by people of different religions, people who believe what I believe and people who don't believe what I believe. And that's just how it is. That's how the real world is. It was just interesting, to kind of go through that perspective. So overall, my experience with college, it was a good experience. Challenging at times, but there's nothing that's not challenging, So I wanted to come on here and kind of just give advice from the mistakes that I made in my freshman year of college, to those watching, whether you're freshman year of high school or especially if you're in your senior year of high school, you're about to graduate. I want to give you my advice from my mistakes. So the first piece of advice that I would give is to keep God first. First semester, I don't think I struggled with this as much, but second semester I did. I struggled to keep God first. And I also struggled to relinquish control over my life. That Bible verse, Proverbs 3 verse 5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. I know that verse from heart, but I was not living that verse out second semester, especially, y'all, like, so serious. I tried to take control of my life, especially with like my academics. Like, I was really trying to I would study, right? And then when I go to take an exam, I would rely on like my own thought, like, I know this or I know this, but I realized, afterwards, while I was studying, I never committed the studying into God's hands. Like, I never said, God, everything that I'm studying, please help me retain it. And a prayer like that seems so small, but it's actually very important. Like, I really tried to take control of my academics, like, into my own hands, which is crazy. And, one thing that I realized is that we do that a lot. Whether you're Christian or not, we do that a lot. We try to take control because that's how we are as human beings. We naturally want to take control of our own lives. We naturally want everything that we're doing to be successful. But the thing is, if you don't commit something into God's hands, if you don't take it up with God, God will not give that official stamp of approval. And if He doesn't give that stamp of approval, what you want to do, what you want to be successful will not be successful. And even if you look at it to be successful, it's not going to be successful in the way that God would have ordained it. It can be successful at a moment, but it'll eventually flop later down the road. And we pray that will happen to none of us in Jesus' name. But I would just say that keep God first. Everything you do, commit it into God's hands. Whether you're studying, whether you're taking a quiz, an exam, whether you're making friends, whether it's about a club you want, every decision you're going to make, whether small, whether big in college, commit it into God's hands, because He has the better view later down the road. He knows if it's going to be something that will help you or something that will hurt you. Like, honestly, just commit everything into His hands. You notice the difference once you commit things into God's hands. Like, it's very evident. The second piece of advice that I would give is to take care of yourself. I did not take care of myself second semester, like, at all. I was sleeping late. I wasn't eating right. I was stressed out. I was crying a lot, like a lot. I'm so serious. And actually, a lot of people close to me don't know that last part, how much I cried. Like it really, I was very stressed out, and I didn't know how to channel it. But it wasn't until, I'd say later in the second semester that I started going to bed on time, started eating more of healthy foods. One thing about me, when I'm stressed, I stress eat, and I stress eat junk food. So I was eating a lot of junk food, a lot of junk food, like ice cream, cookies, cupcakes, brownies, a lot of it in second semester. But I eventually was like, I can't be doing this, So I started eating healthier, started going to the gym more, started sleeping on time. Eventually I just started taking better care of myself. Of course, I was taking care of myself physically, but I wasn't really taking care of myself mentally. And I didn't know how to take care of myself mentally. And I just realized one thing that helped me take care of myself mentally was to journal. Like, journaling really helped me. It really did. It helped me get out everything that I couldn't say. I have a journal, and I like to do Dear God. When I can't physically pray it, I write it down. The third piece of advice that I would give is to talk to somebody. I made the mistake of bottling up 4 months worth of stress and pain and agony, and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't mention it until it was very late, and even when I did, it was very evasive mentioning. So please, for everybody listening out there, college is not easy. I honestly understand now why some people drop out. It's not an easy thing to go through. Nothing worth going through life is easy, as I like to look at it. Nothing is easy, nothing is free, nothing is cheap. It's gonna take work, you're gonna cry at times, it's gonna be stressful, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. But don't let it get to the point where you explode. Find somebody that you trust and just talk about it. One of my uncles told me, if you're stressed out, just call me. I'll just sit there, just scream into the phone if that makes you feel better. And I'm like, I'm not screaming into the phone. But there was one time I called and I was just ranting, and I felt a lot better after. So honestly speaking, y'all, don't keep everything bottled up inside. It's not healthy for you physically, mentally. And the fourth piece of advice, when you have something worth celebrating, give yourself a pat on the back. I did that. Like, I refused to give myself a pat on the back this semester. And I don't know why. Like, I no matter what happens, and I want everyone to really listen to me when I say this, you're not a failure. You're not a disappointment. It's not easy. Celebrate every little thing. Celebrate. Don't beat yourself up too much. And I'm telling myself that too. Don't beat yourself up too much. You are worth celebrating. No matter how small the accomplishment is, no matter how big it is. Even if it's just getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, celebrate your accomplishments. We're worth it. We're worth it. Thank you all for allowing me to sit here and just chat, because y'all know I'm just a little girl. But we thank God for another opportunity. I pray that more opportunities like this will come. Be on the lookout, y'all. We got some special stuff coming up. We got some important things coming up, and I pray that God will keep all of us so it'll all come to pass. I'll see you all in the next video. Mwah. I love y'all. Bye.